Hey y'all, I'm Amira. My pronouns are she, her. I am an executive life leadership coach that focuses on mindfulness meditation and boundary setting. My passion is helping people discover how to sit in and with discomfort in a way that promotes self-love and curiosity, even in the bullshit. I truly believe that even in the worst of what we're going through, giving ourselves that awareness of self-love, giving ourselves the awareness of not beating ourselves up, it helps us get through the other side. And having mindfulness techniques, meditation techniques, awareness techniques that fit for you, that are individualized for you, can really change your life, because it changed mine. So what I've been doing the last couple of months is I've been having a mindfulness meditation gathering. Last month, it was more of an education about what mindfulness and meditation really is. I think that a lot of people think that it's kind of lame and hokey pokey and cheesy, and a lot of people, even people that love and adore me, they don't take it seriously. They think they don't understand what I do. I don't just sit there and cross my legs and everything's fine in the world. I really do teach my clients and others how to maneuver through life with whatever's going on, and I help with finding tools and nuggets that work for you. You cannot do mindfulness exactly how everybody else does it. You have to find techniques and tools that work for you. So that is my passion. So this week's class was yesterday. It was every fourth Saturday of the month. I have another job where my schedule is going to be kind of shifting each month, so it's going to have to be playing by ear. No matter what, when I do an in-person class, I will make a video like this that talks about what we talked about in the class, so that people that weren't able to attend are able to get the information and share in the information. I will say, being in person is it's a lot more interactive, because we're stopping to ask each other questions. We're stopping if there's emotion or something going on. We're discussing it. We're talking about it. The spaces that I create are sacred. The spaces that I create are safe. I am extremely comfortable with sitting in discomfort with people, whether it's anger, sadness, grief, whatever it is. I'm really comfortable with that. I do recommend, if you've never touched on any type of therapy, if there's a lot of trauma there, sometimes mindfulness and meditation can be difficult. If you're not able to sit in the discomfort and the things that come up for you, it's really hard to sit in it and understand mindfulness techniques if your body and your mind is still filled with trauma and that has not been really touched with a professional, and I'm not a professional in that realm. So welcome. Let's do a little grounding to get ourselves intertwined with each other today, or this morning, whenever you're watching this. If you want to just gently close your eyes for a moment, let's take a deep breath together, in through the nose, out through the mouth. We're just placing our intention on being here today, allowing ourselves to just be as we are. We don't need to change our mood. We don't need to be in a good mood. Just sit in the space with us. Just be you. Relax. This space is for you, just to be however you are. And hopefully love yourself a little bit more through it. One last deep breath. Maybe give yourself a hug. All right. Awesome. So if you are so bold and you want to kind of be interactive, I want you to tell me why you are here. Why did you decide to click on the virtual version of the mindfulness meditation gathering? Why are you here? And for me, I kind of already said it, but for me, I'm here because I want to spread to the masses that you can love yourself while you're going through bullshit. That is, at the end of the day, that is what my passion is. So Okay, so if you don't have a journal or something to write with, I would suggest going ahead and getting one now. Journal and pen. I had little journals at the event yesterday. If people didn't bring one, the little cheesy, cheapo ones. Doesn't matter, and you don't have to show anybody. Um, but I want to do some journal questions. And so what I'll do, I have 5 questions that I want to ask, 4 or 5. After I ask the questions, I would love it if you'd pause and go ahead and sit and reflect with your questions, write down your answer, come back, and if you'd like to share, even if you want to privately share with me what your answers are. If the answers are uncomfortable, I want to challenge you to sit in it. Allow yourself to be uncomfortable for a minute and just ponder. Allow yourself to just look at it as an assignment of awareness and curiosity. When you want to feel afraid or uncomfortable, I invite you to be curious instead. Curious. Okay? All right. So, before we get into the questions, I want to talk a little bit more about mindfulness. So, mindfulness and meditation is not a one-size-fits-all. It's a one-size-fits-you. And I am looking down at my notes. Don't be afraid to explore what works for you. Okay? Because the really simple truth of it all is every single person does something every day that they normally do every day. Whether it's put on your chapstick, brush your teeth, put your socks on, having sex, doing the dishes, all of those things, driving, all of those things can be done mindfully. Okay? And the more you do the thing mindfully, the more you will get used to doing the thing mindfully. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. So don't be afraid to find what works for you. What works for me and what I show and teach, it's great. It's just examples of what works for me, or examples of it's the easiest way to teach and show, but do not be afraid to explore. Okay? All right, so what is mindfulness? Mindfulness is just paying attention on purpose, non-judgmentally to the experience. It's just paying attention to whatever you're doing. Yesterday in the class, we put on lotion. So every aspect of putting on that lotion. For me, if I were to put on lotion right this second, I would feel that the palms of my hands feel really, really dry, and the outer part of my hand feels more moisturized. I would feel my knuckles feel really cold. I would feel that my lower palm area has a more of a warm texture to it. Everything about the aspect of what you're doing is mindfulness. Paying attention on purpose without judging the experience. Over and over, right? And then meditation. Meditation is just retraining of attention. So that's why when we're meditating, we say, focus on your breath, or focus on a candle, or focus on the floor, focus on a clock on a wall. Because you want to, when you're meditating, when your mind wanders off, because that's what it does, you want to bring your attention back to your focal point. And so that's why I like to use the breath. It's just the most simple thing. And the breath is important because it regulates our nervous system, right? And again, we'll talk about that in a second. So meditation is retraining of attention. So as you're meditating in your meditative state, when your mind wanders, bring awareness to it without judging. You're not stupid. You're not silly. It's normal for your mind to wander. Bring it back to the focal point. Okay, I'm meditating. Oh, I'm thinking about dinner. Okay, Amira, bring it back to the breath. Oh, I'm thinking about that thing that happened today. I see you. Come back to the breath. Over and over again. Okay? All right. So I have a question at this point. Please put in the comments. what do you think right now in your life, just based off what I just said, that you can like do on a regular basis? A mindfulness technique that you could do on a regular basis. And if you were meditating, what do you think your focal point would be? Cool. So mindfulness and meditation, it helps us calm our nervous system so that when stressors arise, we're better equipped to handle them without running or freezing. We all know about the fight or flight, right? We've seen the videos and the shows about fight or flight. You see the animals in the wild and they're on the hunt for each other, or they're getting away from a threat. And that is why we have that. It's important to have that ability to be able to have the stamina to get away from a threat. If we have a robber or somebody trying to hurt us, we have that ability to get away. But the problem is we are staying in fight or flight. Our nervous systems are so fucked that we feel like we're always in a fight or flight. And that is not healthy, right? So meditation and mindfulness, when done on a consistent basis, it helps regulate the nervous system so that when things arise, you could allow it to come to you, but you could stop and make a rash decision without acting out physically or emotionally. As I'll use myself as an example. Excuse me. Check a bitch queen. I used to love to call myself the check a bitch queen because I was just quick to check people. But I became the check a bitch queen because as a child, I let people walk all over me. So as a defense mechanism, that was my defense. As soon as someone would pop off and be disrespectful or mean to me, I would get your ass with my words. And I realized over time that was hurting me. That was hurting my mind, my body, my soul. It was making me depressed and hostile at myself. It just wasn't good for me. So now I recognize when I do need to speak up, but it's done in a very different way. Okay? All right, let's get to the journal questions. So, remember, if any of these questions are uncomfortable, you are capable of just sitting for a moment, writing it down. Even if you don't want to write the answer now, I challenge you to at least write the question down, even if you don't do it, for a later time when you are ready. So, question number 1. How do you know when something needs to change in your life? How do you know when something needs to change? How do you know when something different needs to happen? For me, the most recent example, I was at a job. I was originally hired as a manager running DD Homes. I do that by trade. I did it for 10 years straight. Something happened. There was something wonky on my license. So I ended up just deciding to stay there as a caregiver. The house was great. Staff were great. The individuals were great. I was bored out of my mind. There wasn't enough to do. I didn't have enough responsibility. And I was crawling out of my skin. I was miserable. I was sitting in the back because the first month or so you're just doing trainings on a computer. And I was sitting in the back, like letting my boss know, I just want to be real with you. I'm looking for something else. And she knew, like, yeah, you need something else for sure. And she knew, but I was like, I felt like I wanted to poke my eyes out. I had never experienced that before. So I knew I'm at a point in my life, probably because my passion and my heart is doing this full time, but gotta make money to pay the bills, right? So, but what I recognize is that I need a job that I'm using my skills, that I'm using my mind, that I'm helping people with their mindset, that I'm helping a team, I'm being a leader. Like, I need to do that. I have to be doing that. And so I knew when I started that particular job 3-4 months ago that there's no more getting jobs just to fill my time. Like, I had to have something different because I felt it in my soul. I was just like I've never felt before. So
How do you know when something in your life needs to be different? Question number 2, how does it feel in your body? When you know something needs to be different, how does it feel in your body? I got a lot of like, what are you talking about yesterday in class? What the fuck does that mean? So just like I kind of described, I felt like antsy, like I knew in like my body, my soul, like for me, most of my reactions in my body are in my chest and my neck. If somebody hurts my feelings or if a situation happened that it was upsetting to me, I normally feel it in my body first, and I feel it in my chest. And the more we pay attention to how our body feels, the less we react to our thoughts. Because most of us are not paying attention to our bodies and how our bodies feel. I love somatic work. It took one time for a coach. It was my second coach. She was a mindfulness my business coach. And I still had a little bit of dad issue that was really kind of bugging me, childhood dad issue. And literally, and this was maybe 6 years ago. No, 5 years ago. Anyway, and I was crying and I was crying and I was angry and I was crying, and she goes, "Where do you feel it in your body?" And I'm like, "My stomach." And I swear it was like, I never got regular closure like some people get. I got closure. My closure is having the relationship that I have now with my dad. I love my dad and our relationship is completely fine and mended to me. But I never got the, I'm sorry for the way I'm blah, blah, blah. And I don't think I need it. But the day that she had me recognize where in my body I felt the feeling of what I was talking about, I never thought about it again or cried about any type of issue from childhood with my dad. So really start paying attention to how your body feels in certain situations. It'll change your life. Okay. All right. Make that shit a habit. All right, number 3. How do you normally handle change? How do you normally handle change or currently handle change? Or you could rephrase it, what is your go-to response when change happens to you? Question number 4, what's something you've been avoiding? That's the last question. What's something you've been avoiding? For me, I have a stack of mail I need to open. I need to open and get my list of bills going and doing all that stuff that I normally would do to have my life in order. I'm avoiding that. Just realize that as I'm asking the question. So what in your life are you avoiding? All right. So if you're following along, please go ahead and pause and do some journaling and reflecting. If you don't want to write anything down, if you just want to ponder and cuss me out for asking these dumb, uncomfortable questions, you can go ahead and pause. All right. So for those who did do the questions, if you'd like to leave in the comments anything that you wrote, that would be dope. If not, that's okay. In class yesterday, we actually went around the room and folks, I think most people talked at least about one question that they had and shared with the room. So please share. So being kind, another really important thing, the kindness, and part of my passion in doing this work is being kind to yourself. So being kind to yourself when discovering new ways to incorporate tools into your life is really important. And I want to read something. This is a part of, this is a entry out of the book, Self-Compassion by Kristen Neef. I read this book in 2014, and this is the year I began to go to therapy long term. I went from 2014, 15, 16, and 17. And then after the last therapist I had in 2017, I hired my first coach, and then a second coach. And then I started delving into the mindfulness world and studying and getting certifications and all those things. And this book absolutely changed my life because it showed me that I could be going through really crappy stuff and I could still treat myself like a friend. She talks a lot about treating yourself like you would treat your friend. And I felt like I was a really good friend, and I take good care of my friends. And so I'm like, wow, why can't I take care of myself like that? It really changed my life. So it says, painful feelings are, by their very nature, temporary. They will weaken over time as long as we don't prolong or amplify them through resistance or avoidance. The only way to eventually free ourselves from debilitating pain, therefore, is to be with it as it is. The only way out is through. If you are continually judging and criticizing yourself while trying to be kind to others, you are drawing artificial boundaries and distinctions that only lead to feelings of separation and isolation. And I had put a little note down here for myself that, part of my depression and anxiety as a young human was thinking I had to be miserable until my life was perfect. And I was extremely toxic to myself. And now there's no one that could love me better than me. No one. Not my parent, not my siblings. No one loves me more than me. Even when I'm going through the worst, even when I've done something wrong, even when, no matter what, even when I am depressed, even when I am crying, I still am holding love and compassion for myself. It's a life changer. So, all right, let's meditate. So, newbies, if there's any newbies, meditation posture is typically upright so that you don't fall asleep. You want to be awake. If you have a body pain or ache or a disability that doesn't allow you to, I think my heater's about to kick back on, I apologize. If you have something that doesn't allow you to sit up, it's okay to lay down, and it's okay if you fall asleep. But for the purpose of learning how to build this into your life, you want to find ways to be awake and alert so that you can feel the experience and understand what it does to the body. Okay, so sitting upright, preferably both feet on the floor or crossed. For me, I like to either place my hands up if I want to receive energy, if you're into that, or placing my hands palm down if I want to do more grounding. Okay, so I will prompt you and guide you through. Something just to note, a lot of folks clench their jaw when they're meditating, and a really good thing to do is to stick your tongue on the roof of your mouth. It helps from clenching your jaw while you're meditating. Okay? All right. So, and remember that focal point. And for this purpose, we're going to focus on our breath. Excuse me. Okay. So during the meditation, there'll be at one point I will begin to do a guided meditation. I wrote this meditation 2 years ago when I was doing weekly, I probably did it for about 5-6 weeks, but weekly free meditation hours. And I did it for my comrades. After George Floyd was murdered, um, I uh, I was supporting my community by being in the street, and something that I felt compelled to do was hold these meditation hours for people just to come and be and cry and be pissed and feel like they were okay being pissed and they were in a safe space to be pissed. And so after one or two of those sessions with the group of folks, I wrote this guided meditation, and I use it often. So I'm going to repeat this meditation 3 times. After the 3rd time, I would like to guide you through 2 rounds of the 4 square breath, and I'll walk you through that, and then we'll go ahead and close out. Okay? And while we're in meditation, I just want to offer for you to just really try to be intentional about when you're closing your eyes, even just repeating, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you to yourself. You know, some of the questions that I asked could have been very triggering and upsetting for people, because I know yesterday some of the questions were difficult, and difficult conversations were brought up, and we got through it. It's okay. I want to also encourage people to start telling yourself that you're capable. I am capable. Even crying, you're capable of doing so much more than you think you can. I promise you, you are capable. You are worthy. Okay. All right. So gently close your eyes. One deep breath in through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Relaxing your shoulders. Allowing your hands to be soft. Releasing any tension in your face. Allowing your eyebrows to be soft. And sit with yourself like a friend. Like a nurturing, caring, compassionate friend. While we breathe. Paying attention to your breath. Not forgetting to breathe. If you have to focus on the rise and fall of your stomach, the rise and fall of your chest, you are so worthy. You are so capable. I am grounded. My breath is my anchor. My breath keeps me grounded in my body. I am calm. I am enough. In this moment, I am safe within my mind and body. I am centered. I am safe even in discomfort. I am safe even in fear. I am safe even in anger. I am safe even in my deepest grief. keeping your shoulders soft, your face soft. I am safe, even in physical and emotional pain. I am safe, even in guilt and shame. I nurture and sit with myself in all that I am and in all of my current moments without trying to change or avoid the outcome. I am worthy of all things beautiful and safe.